So we're going to start by shaping her brows. So I start by finding the center point because it gives my eyes a place to focus. And she already has a beautiful brow shape. And so we're not going to change too much about her shape. We're just going to fill them in so that they look nice and full, and try to even them out a little bit. Just this brow starts, you can see, starts a little bit further back. So I'm just going to make a little mark for myself on how far to take them. And then the fronts of her brows are beautiful, and it'll be perfect for ombre because she's got lots of brow hairs in the front. And so we'll keep it nice and soft, but give her a clean line on the bottom of her brow. And then fill in the back half of her tail. I always like to preserve as much of the client's natural brow hairs as possible because that ends up giving the most natural look. So I try to find a shape that keeps as much of the hair. And if it was a choice between preserving more brow hairs versus getting them completely symmetrical, I would choose keeping the brow hairs because I think that's the best end result. And everybody's brows are a tiny bit different. We just try to make them as even as possible without removing a ton of brow hairs. What was your name? Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Emily.
Emily? I'm Suji. Did you take before pictures of Emily? Yeah?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I guess I could have just asked you.
We did.
Okay, great. Okay. So on Emily, we're going to use a mixture of Louis 11 and 24 karat, just like maybe like a third 24 karat. I'm going to mix it up and test it on her skin to make sure that it feels good for her. So it's a new needle. So if you want to have a look at the mirror, you can see the color. So they're going to look darker, but remember they fade lighter, about 30%. What do you think about the shade of that?
No, I think that's perfect. That like almost looks like the pencil I use.
Yeah,
like
and
that,
it matches the
taupe
roots of your hair,
brown.
right? Which is what we always aim
So you
for.
get 24K, what do you
About
use?
30% 24K, and then the rest Louis 11.
All right, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to wipe that off your forehead. So I'm going to get started.
Okay.
Turn your lightly to the side. Does it feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just scratching her skin open lightly. Very little pressure on the needle so that I can apply the secondary numbing. As always, I'm stretching her skin and pulling them up onto her brow bone so I have a nice flat surface to work on. And just lightly scratching.
It's so creepy. I love it. I love it. Keep that. That's a winner. He said it's cute because he's showing his Me too. Me too. I'd have been on your shoulder with that. It was really a little used. Really.
Didn't even have a look in the mirror. It's not tattooed in yet. It's just scratched, but gives you a sense of the shape and about the sense of the color.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, great. And it'll be nice and sharp, like it won't.
Okay.
If there's any, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, wasn't really gonna say anything.
Okay,
You're good.
good. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of numbing. And we're trying to maintain the shape as much as possible, so I'm just dabbing it on with a Q-tip, and I will be blotting it away. Just shut this no, just shut it off. Thank you. So I'm switching. Oh, I'll say that once we're on. So whenever you can turn it back on, please. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and blot this off. I'm just laying a piece of paper towel right on it instead of scrubbing it off so that we maintain the shape. And then I've switched to a dense needle, which is a 3 round needle. So I'm going to tattoo the first pass on, and then after this part, your skin will be fully open, so I'm going to be able to numb you fully after this point. So again, always stretch. You doing okay?
Mm-hmm. I have a pretty high pain threshold.
Okay, I'll
So
make sure that you're comfortable.
Yeah, no, I can
after this
honestly
pass.
barely feel it.
Okay, good. It's not a super painful process. I just want to make sure you're not dying inside and holding it together.
Yeah, we're good. I usually get my eyebrows threaded.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's more painful than this.
I have a friend who cries every time she gets her eyebrows threaded.
Yeah, it's painful.
I'm like, oh, I don't want to do your brows.
Yeah.
But then it was fine.
My eyes like naturally tear up.
Yeah.
When I get them done, I'm like, it doesn't really hurt that bad. It's just like,
Yeah.
it just happens.
Yeah. After the next round of numbing, you won't feel much. Have you been thinking about getting your brows tattooed for a while?
Yeah, I have a couple friends that have done it, and it looks really good.
Yeah.
I just kind of haven't pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a new year.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna apply layered numbing. So you should be really numb by now, so let me know once you start to feel it some more.
So is there any other techniques that you want to talk about?
Kind of the same process. I'll try to think of something. Your skin is taking pigment so well. It's already
Oh, good.
almost. So we're not finished, but I'm going to get you to look at the mirror to see how you're feeling about the color. It's not fully saturated, but in terms of like the darkness, is that what you would want it to end up feeling like?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to fill that in, but just
Yeah,
as a
no,
general
I see what you
shade.
mean. But yeah, I think that's pretty.
Yeah. Do you usually make your brows longer?
Just like a smidge. Like I almost bring it like
Okay.
maybe
So I'm going
there.
to, when I switch to a nice finer needle, I'm going to bring that down
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't go
And I'll
too
crisp
far.
up the edges a little bit.
Okay, awesome.
Are you good with how they're looking so far?
Yeah, I think so, because we're gonna do a little bit there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
Pretty.
good. Okay. Yeah.
What?
So her skin is taking pigment beautifully. So it's been about, I'd say like 3 or 4 passes, and they're quite saturated. I'm going to switch to a single needle in a second after filling a couple more spots and just crisp up the tail and the edges and do a little bit of pixelation around her front. So I'm going to fine tune it with a finer needle to make them a tiny bit longer. But I think that suits you really well. I think it's a pretty color.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it'll be like perfect once, like you said, like once it fades in like a couple days.
Yeah. So they're going to look darker when you wake up tomorrow. Like day 2 and day 3, they're going to be darker. And then around day 4 or 5, they're going to flake lightly, like in tiny little flakes.
Yeah.
And so there's one day where they're kind of awkward looking. But the next day, like don't pick at it, don't scratch at it. And then the next day, it should be good. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to make the tails a tiny bit longer with a single needle. And I'm just going to sharpen up the edges of her brows all around. So I'm just creating a softer pixelated look by doing some pointillism. I'm just doing little tiny dots in the front so it puts, implants some pigment, but not a lot. We're going to have to do that quite a few times until we get the desired look. When you're near your final pass, to get all the pigment out, adding a little bit of numbing just to loosen up any of the dried pigment, and giving a wipe will give you a true sense of what's actually in the skin versus just sitting in amongst her hairs. So again, just in the front, I'm going to do a few pixelated dots, not in a perfect pattern or shape, a few above, a few further out, because many of them will heal out in the healing process, and just leave enough so that it casts a bit of a shape, but not a ton of color, right in the front. Nice work, guys.
I'll just stop it.
So the numbing contains epinephrine, which constricts your blood vessels so that they don't bleed, and it turns your skin white. So that's the whiteness that you're seeing around your brows. It also creates sort of white spots in your brow because the skin underneath is so white. So once they, depending on how much the skin was open in an area, determines which areas kind of absorb that pigment or that numbing. So it's not consistent skin color underneath. So any kind of splotchiness you see as the numbing wears off will settle down. Not that it's splotchy, but just there's like slight variations in the hue of your actual skin. So I'm going to give it a wipe.
Yeah, that looks a lot better.
Yeah.
I love it.
Good. So you can be really, really picky. It's your face. And we notice small differences in our own face more than other people. So I want you to be really comfortable, especially with this one, because we're going to replicate this one on the other side. So if there's anything that you feel at all unsure about, totally let me know. Super pretty though. And just don't touch them with your fingers.
Ready to touch.
Do you want them a little bit darker in the front, do you think? Because I brought them in a fair bit, so I wanted to still keep it soft.
I think that might be perfect, because you said, like, what did you say with these pointed ones?
Some of the dots will fade out, and some of them will stay, so it just gives like an illusion. I think it looks a little bit more current to have a little bit of a slant in the front. Like the old school like brows that our grandmothers had like really like square edges, and I think that makes them look a little bit dated.
Maybe just like a tiny bit more there if they're gonna fade.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Right where those top dots are.
Wow.
But I think perfect other than that, don't you?
So I'm gonna go ahead and add some more dots in the front. So I'm just gonna do random, scattered. Some will heal out and some will stay. And I'll just give that soft look. So if there's a client that wants a really powdered look, you can actually go ahead and apply dots right along the top line as well, and it just softens up the look. But right now we're going for crisp edges, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply some numbing just in case we need to come back and touch anything on this side, and then you'll still be comfortable. So I'll leave that, and then we'll switch over to the other side. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this side. So we're going to repeat the same process over. I have a single needle in, and so I'm going to go ahead and scratch on her skin to open it up so that I can apply numbing for her. So even though the goal is not to implant pigment in the first pass, I'm just using a little bit of pigment so that I can see that it's touching her skin, because the goal is to very lightly open up her skin.
I don't know. I'm probably just gonna go to bed and I just got a lot going on. We've got a lot of work to do, so go to bed and then just get mad again. So yeah. Cool. All right. Cool. Right back.
So once again, trying not to disrupt her shape, I'm just going to pat a little bit of numbing on the skin that I just opened. I'm going to go ahead and just lightly dab the numbing off, and then without disrupting the shape, I switch to the dense needle, which is the 3 round needle.
I was gonna say you are going a lot faster than I expected you to.
It really depends so much. Like
Yeah.
when people have kind of oilier, thicker skin, it takes a lot longer.
But yeah, I have the driest skin ever.
Yeah, which like for tattooing is like the best.
Perfect. Okay, well, guess I'm in luck today.
Yeah.
I was worried that was gonna be a problem because I woke up and was like, oh my gosh, like my skin is insane. Like, tried to exfoliate it and
Oh
stuff.
no, it's perfect. So let me know whenever you start to feel pain. Don't hesitate. Again, I haven't wiped yet so they can see the shape. I'll get you to have a look and see if there's anything that you feel is different. Again, I'll still crisp up the edges and do the front.
I don't think so. I think they look pretty good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll continue sectioning this up.
I had a Colombian girlfriend, lived in Colombia, didn't speak a lick of English, fell in love with her, tattooed my name on her wrist, like the whole shebang, and we literally communicated via translator. Still don't know Spanish, and I was like went on this thing to like learn how to speak Spanish. Didn't work out, and flew her to try to get a visa to come here. I had kids, the whole deal. And finally, I just couldn't even, it was so hard. We were like about 5 months deep. And you can't communicate with somebody. It gets just frustrating. And I would try to communicate something with her, and she wouldn't like receive it the right way. It was really hard. You what? I do. Yeah. That's my grandmother. Wow. Yeah. Where's my, speaking of that, I got this Colombian, what is it, the salt and pepper seasoning.
And she does like the stifling.
Yeah.
Fill in.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like really good.
And it's going to be pretty. I'm going to switch to the other needle to finish it up. Okay. So I'm just using a switch to a single needle to sharpen up the edges so that they're nice and crisp. More so on the bottom than on the top, because in the ombre brows we want the tops of the brows to be fairly soft and then the bottoms to be very defined and polished. And of course the tail is just polished throughout. It's not possible, or it's difficult to get a nice sharp edge with a 3-round with a dense needle. That's more for packing in the pigment. So I like to finish the brow with a single needle. And then of course we're going to use this to pixelate in the front as well, as like we did on the other side. And do the same thing on this side, where we're just going to add like a little shadowy effect in the front. And some of them will heal out. So I'll wipe and do that again. You still feeling pretty numb?
Yeah, I can't feel it.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. And the pixelating is a really good tip or trick for If there's a scar area or just an area that's not taking pigment very well, you can go back and instead of overworking the skin with the other needle, just go in and pixelate in that area. And then after you do that, if you come back with your other needle, you'll find that the pigment implants nicely. Gonna work on the edges of the tail just a little bit more to get them perfect. So again, you'll notice small differences in your own face more. So now I'm going to wipe both sides and get you to have a look. And then you can let me know anything you'd like adjusted. Just wipe this one low. I haven't had a chance to look at them both full on as well, so I'll have a look after you do.
I honestly like them.
Yeah? Okay.
Like what do you think? It's probably easier for you to see, or
Yeah, I'm gonna make the tail, if you wanna look in the mirror, I'm just gonna make the tail here a tiny bit thicker because I feel like this one is a tiny bit thicker.
I see that.
Once you feel comfortable with that? Just a touch, like it's not gonna be a huge difference.
Yeah.
And you're still numb? Okay. It's just gonna be like a hairline. And Bryce is going to do a touch up for you, and it's going to be much easier by that time because the shape is already there. So he's just going to go over it with color. So if you need to shift a little bit the shape or shift a little bit the color, that can always happen at touch up.
Sounds good.
But just remember, it takes like a good 10 to 12 days for you to see like the final result. So it's just a little bit of a process while it's healing, and it'll look darker and lighter, and then it'll settle. Give them one more wipe. They really suit you. I think they're super pretty.
Thank you. It'll be so nice not to have to fill them in anymore.
For sure. And when you find that you're starting to fill them in again, that's usually a sign that you need a
Time to
touch
touch
up.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in your skin it's gonna last like a couple years though
Wow.
after your
That's
touch up.
amazing.